This is an overview of the new features that have gone live on the Online Mentor system in summer 2013. The first one to show you is the new online sign-off facility, and this enables a supervisor to log in, select their trainee by clicking the View link on the right hand side under Action, and this in the usual way takes them to the trainee's real-time training record, and from here they can view the training record entries again in the usual way. But what's different now is that towards the top of that page there is a sign-off link which takes them to a new online sign-off form, and here there's a couple of things that the supervisors will need to do. One is we would suggest identify the period that they're signing off. Now this will depend entirely upon how the firm wants to take it. It could be that it's a monthly sign-off, for example, so every month the supervisor logs on, identifies the month in question and signs it off. Or it could be, mid-seat and then end of seat. Or in this example, we've given the example of a supervisor signing off on a complete a 6-month seats worth of training record activity. Either way, if the supervisor from here wants to, they can click View Entries, and that will pull up and take them to a separate browser which has got all of those entries on there so that they can review them. And then if there are any comments to make, they can make those. But the key button really is Submit. As soon as they click that, the system logs that activity and tells them that it's been added to the system. And that's all they need to do. And from the point of view of managers who are keeping abreast of the various sign-offs across the firm, the way to do that is to go into the new Reports area, which is a new link on the left-hand side of the website. And this takes you to 3 new things for you to see. At the bottom there is a new sign-off report button, and clicking this opens up a table which logs and represents all of the sign-off activity. So that previous sign-off that we demonstrated has now been logged in relation to the test trainee, and each time that a supervisor signs off, that activity will be captured. So this table will become cumulative, and it's easy to see against any and all trainees how many sign-offs there have been and where there haven't been sign-offs. A couple of other things to note in the new reports area. One is the engagement reports in the middle there, and that is a very simple report which you can run, which gives you real-time live data about trainee engagement with their training record. At the top, the progression report, that is worth taking you through. So now managers at a firm have the ability to select whichever trainee they want to have a look at and run, for example, an SRA outcomes report. And this presents the data in a very different way to the usual journal search area on the system. And note that trainees have access to their own progression reports which they can run, and you can see here that there are some comments being made here. Now the point about this data is that it shows a number of things and could be used in a number of ways. One is that it shows under each of the SRA outcomes the number of entries that have been created which relate to that particular heading. So here there are 10 SRA outcomes in total, 2 of which have been tagged against presentations and advocacy. Now what a trainee can do, and potentially what a manager or a supervisor can do, is to scroll through this form and pick out and look at the entries in relation to each heading. These numbers against number of entries, they're dynamic, so if you click through it takes you to those entries in the training record. So for example, under presentations and advocacy, there are 2 entries there, we are told. If you click through, it takes you to those entries, you can review them, and you can go back to the form and Potentially from the point of view of a trainee, you can make some comments. From the point of view of a supervisor, you can make some comments in relation to what you've seen. And there is also the potential here to make private comments which only supervisors and managers are able to see. And you can do that in relation to any and all of the headings, and scrolling down to the bottom, clicking enter will save that activity. And again at the bottom towards the left, you can view or print in a printer-friendly format the progression report in a new browser. And you can either do a standard report, or you can print a report that's got the private comments as well. So for example here, this is the look and feel of the report, and again it's an optional report. There is no requirement for trainees to do this, but potentially it ties in with appraisals. So it could be a way in which a trainee can prepare for appraisals, can go into an appraisal with live information about their progress against the against the SRA practice skill standards. It gives them the ability potentially to self-assess their progression, and in turn it gives supervisors potentially the ability to engage with that and make their own comments. If the firm is using their own KPIs within the online mentor platform, then progression reports can be run against those KPIs as well, or instead. So again, the option is there, and gladly talk you through it in more detail face to face.